Yes, NCRT exemplar 11 biology body fluid circulation chapter body fluids and circulation. Let's start. First question, mark among the following a cell which does not exhibit phagocytic activity. Cell which should not have phagocytic activity. Monocytes are activated, they become macrophages. So both are having phagocytic activity. Neutrophils, yes, they have even phagocytic activity. So who is the inflammatory mediator? Basophil. So what is our answer here? Basophil. Moving on. One of the common symptoms observed in the people infected with dengue fever. The so famous one it is dengue fever. In dengue fever, you might notice over. Let us see the option first. Significant decrease in RBC count, significant decrease in WBC count, significant decrease in platelet count, and increase in platelet count. So, what is our answer? Platelet count is going to be decreased in case of dengue fever. Okay. Which among the following is correct during each cardiac cycle? The volume of blood pumped out by right and left ventricle is same. The second option given, the volume of blood out by the right and left ventricle is different. The volume of blood received by each atrium is different. The volume of blood received by aorta and pulmonary artery is different. Here we should not go more medical in angle that what is given in the NCRT that matters for us. The volume of blood pumped out by the right and left ventricle is same is given here. So that's going to be the answer. Cardiac activity could be moderated by autonomous neural system. The correct answer for this, the parasympathetic system stimulate heart rate and stroke volume. The sympathetic system stimulate heart rate and stroke volume. Parasympathetic system decrease the heart rate and increase the stroke volume. Sympathetic system decreases the heart rate but increases the stroke volume. Sympathetic and parasympathetic, either sympathetic increases, parasympathetic decreases stroke volume and heart rate both. So that's why we are not considering C and D. Let's talk about A and B. Sympathetic system stimulate heart rate and stroke volume. We need to understand here the meaning stimulate increases. So that in that angle I am selecting choose the activity moderated by autonomous sympathetic system stimulate the heart rate as well as stroke volume, whereas here stimulation means decreases. Parasympathetic is also correct, but the decreases the heart rate and stroke volume. Mark the pair of substances among the following which is essential for coagulation of blood. Blood clotting. Here given options heparin and calcium ion. Heparin is an anticoagulant. Calcium ion and platelet factors is given. Oxalates and citrates, platelet factors and heparin. Heparin option, we have to remove the heparin option because heparin is an anticoagulant, not for coagulation. Oxalates and citrates are also correct, but asking about which is essential for coagulation of blood in human body. So in that angle, then oxalate citrate, sodium oxalate, you have to say complete, but in considering the human body, I am selecting calcium ions and platelet factors. ECG depicts the depolarization and repolarization processes during the cardiac cycle. In the ECG of a normal healthy individual, one of the following waves is not represented. So let us see ECG first of all. Here P wave which represent atrial depolarization, QRS complex which represent ventricular depolarization, T wave which represent ventricular repolarization. So depolarization of atria, repolarization of atria, depolarization of ventricle, repolarization of ventricle. As I said now, repolarization of ventricle T wave, depolarization of ventricle QRS complex, and depolarization of atria P wave. So which is not there, that is repolarization of atria. Repolarization of atria is not represented. Next, which one of the following type of cell lack nucleus? RBC, neutrophil, eosinophil, monocyte. So our answer is RBC. The RBC is enucleated without nucleus. We'll find RBC. Next, which one of the following blood cell is involved in antibody production? B lymphocytes, T lymphocyte, RBC, neutrophil. So, following blood cell involved in antibody production, that B lymphocyte, which they produce plasma cells and memory cells. They produce plasma cell and memory cell. Plasma cell produce antibodies now and memory cells produce antibodies in future time. So, in that way, what is our answer? B lymphocytes. Cardiac cycle, impulse is initiated and conducted further up to ventricle. The correct sequence: SCA node, AV node, Purkinje fiber, AV bundle, SCA node, Purkinje fiber, AV node, AV bundle, SCA node, AV node, AV bundle, Purkinje fiber, SCA node, Purkinje fiber, AV bundle. So let us see first of all. So this is the SCA node. From the SCA node, it will come to the AV node, then to the bundle of his, then to the Purkinje fiber. So where do we find answer here? SCA node to AV node to AV bundle to Purkinje fiber. So that is our answer. The cells involved in inflammatory reaction: basophil, neutrophil, eosinophil, and lymphocyte. The basophils are going to release inflammatory mediators like histamine, bradykinin, serotonin, prostaglandins likewise, and they act as a inflammatory mediators. Second heart sound is associated with the closure of. The closure of tricuspid and bicuspid wall create the sound lub. Okay, so tricuspid and bicuspid wall create the sound lub. So what is our answer here? Semilunar walls are going to create the sound dub. Second heart sound dub is going to be created by the closure of semilunar walls. Which of the following correctly explains a phase event in cardiac cycle in a standard electrocardiogram? QRS complex indicates atrial contraction. Let us correct this. Ventricular contraction. QRS complex indicates ventricular contraction. This is the right answer. Time between S and T represent atrial systole. Wrong. P wave indicates the beginning of. Wrong. Ventricular contraction. Wrong. P wave indicates atrial contraction. As now only we said, P wave represent atrial depolarization, nothing but atrial contraction. So what is our answer here? QRS complex indicates ventricular contraction. Which of the following statement is incorrect? A person of O blood group has anti-A, anti-B antibodies in his blood plasma. A person of B blood group can't donate blood to person of A blood group. Blood group is designated on the basis of the presence of antibodies in the blood plasma. A person of AB blood group is universal recipient. So the four options, let's see. First option, a person of O blood group has anti-A antibodies in the plasma. Yes, that is true. RBC don't have any antigen. In the plasma, we'll find both A and B antibodies. Next, the second option is given. A person of B blood group cannot donate blood to a person of A. Yes, he cannot donate to A because it leads to coagulation. Person may die even. Blood group is designated on the basis of presence of antibodies in the blood plasma. Blood group is designated on the basis of presence of antigens, not antibodies, it is antigens. A person of AB blood group is universal recipient. Yes, this is even correct. So what is our answer? This is our answer. P blood group is designated on the basis of the presence of antibodies in the blood plasma. Okay, moving on. What would be the cardiac output of a person having 72 heartbeats per minute and a stroke volume of 50 ml? Cardiac output is stroke volume into number of heartbeats per minute. Okay, so in that way, what do you say? Stroke volume, how much it is given? A person having 72 beats, beats are 72 is given, and the stroke volume is given 50 ml. So 50 into 72, 50 into 72. So what will be our answer here? 3600 ml. 3600 ml. Okay. So match the terms given under column A with their functions given under column B. Lymphatic system. Lymphatic system is a system to drain the tissue fluid to the circulatory system. Pulmonary vein, the vein which carry oxygenated blood. Thrombocytes, cells which are helpful in the coagulation of the blood. Lymphocytes T and B for immune response. So where do we find answer here? Lymphatic system A 3, B 1, A3, B1. We run through second and third options. C is the deciding factor. Thrombocyte, coagulation of the blood. C4, D2. So A3, B1, C4, D2. So what is our answer here? The second option. Second option is our answer. Okay, moving on. Read the following statements and choose the correct option. Atria receive blood from all parts of the body which subsequently flows to ventricles. Action potential generated at sinoatrial node passes from atria to ventricles. So atria receive blood from all parts of the body which subsequently flows to ventricle. Yes, that is true. Action potential generated at sinoatrial node passes from atria to ventricles. So action mentioned in the statement 1 dependent on action mentioned in the statement 2. Second option, action mentioned on statement 2 is dependent on action mentioned in statement 1. Action mentioned in statements 1 and 2 are independent of each other. Action mentioned in statement 1 and 2 are synchronous at a time. So let us see, atria receive blood from all parts of the body which subsequently flows to ventricle. Then action potential generated SCA node passes from the atria to ventricle. Then only it flows to the ventricles. Isn't it or not? So statement 2 is dependent on action mentioned on statement 1. So that will be our answer. Second option. So that's it. Body fluid circulation from Icon Educational Institutions. Thank you.